Hey guys, if you're anything like me, I imagine a lot of my viewers are, you've probably gone out to the bar at some point in your life and been like, I'm a little bit uncomfortable. I think I need a drink to decrease my social anxiety. That's okay, we've all been there. But how often does one drink turn into 3 drinks, turn into 6 drinks, and before you know it, you're hammered and looking for a way to sober up quickly? That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. When I was about 20 years old, I did an exchange program through my school where I studied abroad in Australia, which was awesome because being 20 years old, I wasn't legally allowed to drink in the United States, but now I'm over here where my ID works because the drinking age in Australia is 18. Unfortunately, just because you got an ID that says you're of age doesn't mean you're sober enough to go into a bar. So when all my friends went into this little sports bar in Melbourne, the bouncer told me I was too drunk and needed to sober up first. I said, okay, that's reasonable. Why don't I go get food and something to drink and come back and try again later? He said, yeah, we can try that. So I go down to the local nearby gas station, get like a donut and some water, then come back and talk to the bouncer for a little while. 20, 30 minutes later, just small talking outside with the bouncer, he probably got sick of me and that's probably why he let me in eventually. But also, this was my attempt at sobering up. Now, did that food and water actually sober me up, or was it just a myth that enough people believe that the bouncer was like, yeah, that'll do it? Let's cover that in this video, as well as covering some things that might work a little bit better than food and water, and some things that might be bad options altogether. Now, before we dive right into these tips, I just want to point out a few important facts about alcohol that might help you understand this process a little bit better. Now, 2 people can drink the exact same drink, but be affected very differently. There's a few reasons for this, but the primary one is blood alcohol content. So factors like someone's age, their weight, whether or not they've eaten that day, liver disease, medications they may be on, these are all going to play a role on their blood alcohol content or how much alcohol is actually in their bloodstream from the drink they just had. Also, tolerance is going to play a factor here as well, with somebody who drinks often not feeling the effects of alcohol quite as strongly as somebody who doesn't drink quite as much. Regardless of blood alcohol contents or tolerance, one fact remains constant for everybody, and that is, once you've ingested the alcohol, it's going to have to run its course. There are a few tips that can help you through this process and make it go a little bit faster, and that's what we're about to dive into, but just keep in mind if there's ever a serious emergency, get to a hospital. My first tip for you is probably one you weren't expecting, and maybe this is even controversial, I don't know why it would be, but it's kind of gross, but that's to pull the trigger. You know, poke that little thing in the back of your throat and make yourself throw up. That's honestly, if you know you've had a ton of alcohol, you're already feeling wasted and you got a lot left in your stomach to pass through you know, it can often be the best thing you can do is to just purge it all out and start with a semi-clean state and ride the remaining drunk out. Just keep in mind you don't want to do this in someone's sink or, you know, if you're doing this at a bar or something in a toilet bowl, you know, make sure there's not a bouncer around here or you're gonna get kicked out onto the street. Also, make sure you brush your teeth afterwards because that is very, very yucky and you will get cavities. My next tip is food. So a lot of people think that eating food is gonna work like a sponge sitting in your stomach. That's gonna just negate the alcohol by absorbing it, and it doesn't work that way. So don't think that, you know, eating a loaf of bread after getting hammered is gonna sober you up. It's not. However, food can be good because it's gonna take up room in your stomach, so maybe you'll lose the appetite to keep drinking. Also, it'll kind of space out the alcohol a little bit and make it just be absorbed a little bit slower since your stomach's working on so many other things at once. Tip number 3 to help you sober up from alcohol is going to be to drink some water. Typically, it's recommended to have at least 8 ounces of water for every alcoholic beverage consumed, but it's important to note that a lot of people get the wrong idea about how water is going to work. It's not going to magically counteract the effects of alcohol by any means. It definitely is still going to get absorbed by your body, that alcohol, but it is nice to take up some space in your stomach as well as hydrating you so you're not as completely dehydrated and have a brutal hangover tomorrow. This is why I kind of like to drink vodka sodas. I feel like it's kind of hydrating as I drink, even though that's probably just wishful thinking. My 4th tip is actually something I found out about not too long ago, maybe a year or 2 ago, and I recommend it highly, not only for sobering up at the end of the night, but also for kind of really curing your hangover the next day. And that's gonna be to take a DHM supplement after drinking before bed. DHM stands for dihydromyricetin, which sounds super artificial and scary, but it's actually a totally natural product. It's an extract from the oriental raisin tree. Go figure. DHM relieves intoxication by limiting alcohol absorption in the GI tract, as well as by promoting the metabolization of alcohol in the liver. This is a really great supplement that just makes me feel a lot better after I drink. I know a lot of you guys probably haven't heard of DHM before, so I will provide a link below to my favorite source if you're just looking for somewhere to buy it and try it yourself. But if you don't want to use that link for whatever reason, you can probably find DHM locally as well. My fifth tip is a little bit different because this is something that I actually recommend not doing. It's a common myth that caffeine is going to help sober you up at the end of the night. It is not. It's not going to have any impact on your blood alcohol content levels at all. It's not going to speed up metabolization in the liver. It's not going to do any of that. All it's going to do is make you feel a little bit more alert, a little bit more awake, which to some people makes them feel like they're counteracting the effects of alcohol, but I don't think this is a good thing. In my own experience, this really just helps me make bad decisions faster, so I typically recommend avoiding caffeine, especially at the end of the night. You're already gonna have a bad night's sleep with all that alcohol in your system, so I wouldn't throw caffeine on top of that. And that is all I have for you guys today. If you have tips of your own, I really want to hear them, so do comment below. I did as much research as I could, and it's really hard to find out good things that work for this, so I'm interested if you guys have any secrets that I don't already know about. But if this video was helpful or you liked it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below so you're the first to know about more great content on mental health, anxiety, and stuff like that. Catch you guys next time.